Wanted to do some filming here today. Today's September 27th or 28th. There's the Kettering Hospital right over there at the Middletown exit. There's a tower, new tower, one of them 5Gs, I believe it is. That may actually be a tornado tower. I want you to see this network going from Middletown into Mason here in a minute. And the Kettering deal, I've noticed every other exit seems to be a Kettering hospital. There was one on Springboro exit. Then I come past the Franklin exit, up to Middletown exit, and there's Kettering Hospital. And then up here in Mason and Liberty, there's Kettering and Atrium. And it seems like there's an awful lot of new hospitals going up. And I'm not for sure why that would be, other than it may play a part in the tribulation period. As far as people receiving the mark, only God knows. I'm going to pause it here for a second until I get up here where these towers are. What they are is they're metal telephone poles, which normally would not be no big deal, but there is a massive amount of them, and to glance at it you would wonder what in the world is going on. I mean, what kind of network is it leading to? Mason is a hub. It's an actual hub here in America. Most of the businesses that their primary hubs are located here in Mason. Procter & Gamble being one of them. And there is more activity going on in this town. I moved here 7 years ago. Had no intentions of moving here, but was persuaded by somebody to move here that already lived here, and God verified for a few days straight that this is where He wanted me to be. So this is where I've been this whole period of time. Mason has some history to it as far as Kings Island. In 1974, Brady Bunch went to Kings Island, the Brady Bunch show, TV show. 1975, Evel Knievel come and jumped, I believe it was 13 school buses. The Voice of America is here, WLW. It had 500,000 watts blasting out of it during World War II. You're only allowed 50,000, but Franklin D. Roosevelt allowed it to continue because it allowed people to hear the news and keep up to date. People that were poor, didn't have radios, etc., because there was so much wattage going out, 500,000 watts, that they said that you could sometimes hear the radio off of a barbed wire fence. You could hear it off of gutters. You could hear it off of the kitchen faucet. So it allowed people to actually hear it during World War II, and they got to hear, Franklin D. Roosevelt's, what they call them, campfire chats or whatever. And there's something pertaining to Franklin Roosevelt. He's the one that actually come up with what was called the New Deal. And he is the first one to actually institute a number system, which we call the Social Security number, where everybody had a number assigned to them. There is a scripture in the New Testament, in the book of Revelations, that says, talks about the beast that has 7 horns, I believe, and 10 crowns. And there's a little horn that comes up out of those 7, and it says, and that it speaks blasphemous things against the God of heaven. And it says, and the 8th is of the 7. Well, I believe the Lord showed me something the other day, and I'm not at liberty to speak about it right now, but I'm recording it because I believe He is going to have it known, or He wouldn't have told me, I don't believe. Scripture says that will God do anything but what He reveals to His servants and prophets first. So I believe it's for a designated time that He'll have me to speak about it, but for now I'm going to go ahead and record it. If you take Franklin D. Roosevelt and you count the Democratic presidents from Franklin D. Roosevelt to present day, Barack Obama was number 7, the Democratic presidential. And now we have a Republican in, but I ran his name when he first started talking about running, because I'm thinking, man, who better to actually do a peace deal with Israel than a real estate man like Donald Trump. So his name didn't work out though. So I just discarded it, and I'm thinking, the Lord, I'd already realized that the name Muhammad equaled 666, so I'm thinking that, because they're beheading the people that they're beheading, I got to stay on track with it. That's the one I'm looking for. Muhammad is a title, so it's part of a name, so I've just got to watch now to see. And I'd actually saw one in Egypt back, I think it was around the time that President Trump was running for president, and I think his name was Mubarak or something. I can't remember for sure right off the top of my head. I've got it written down at home, but his name actually equaled 666, but he didn't fit all the credentials that Scripture says pertaining to the Antichrist. And then I found other names of different leaders that, they've already been in and out, and their name equaled 666. I had forgot that I'd studied the characteristics of the Antichrist. He's going to be a king of fierce countenance. He'll understand dark sayings. He comes in and he doesn't win the kingdom honorably, but he takes it with flatteries. Meaning he tells people what they want to hear. He flatters them. That's how he gets it. And he will come up out of a small people. I forgot those things. I got so engrossed in running names and numbers that I forgot you got to have the attributes there too. So I'm thinking, and what it was, I didn't start thinking about that and then come to the realization that Donald Trump was the Antichrist. I was watching something of Donald Trump TV, an advertisement that popped up either on TikTok or the internet or on regular TV, I can't remember. But the Lord at that moment opened up my eyes and let me see his name, Donald John, not the Trump, but Donald John, spelled 666. And it was then rearranging a couple of the vowels that are in his name. Vowels, A, E, I, O, U. When you change a vowel, as long as the name still sounds the same, you're not hurting the name when you change the vowel. The Lord taught me that a year or two ago when I was doing all these names. I found myself engrossed for like 3 months doing nothing but just names and names and names. I could not write enough. Oh man, I mean, I'd sit there, go to sleep writing, and I'd fight going to sleep. I just did not want to go to sleep. I was so fascinated at what I was finding on just finding the standard number of a name, and names that seem to work with each other. They had the same numeric value but different names, but yet the names did, you could see how they could work being the same thing. And then not just singles, but then I started doing 2-word phrases and 3-word phrases. And I've got a book at home. It's got 360 pages in it. I went up to 360 because 360 is full circle. And it's been quite interesting, the things that I have discovered, that the Lord has allowed me to see. But when I saw that, then right after that I started seeing different advertisements, and in the advertisements there was little telltale signs. And man, I think I grieved for 2 or 3 days in my spirit, just shocked, because I really like Donald Trump. The scripture says that pertain to him, if it were possible to deceive even the very elect. God's not going to let me be deceived. I may be deceived for a moment, but God will always show me what's going on, because I am his servant. My life is not my life. My life is his life. And whatever he wants me to do, that's what I'll do. Then I remembered how I'd studied in the book of Daniel pertaining to the Antichrist and the characteristics of the Antichrist. And I thought, wow, man, Donald Trump meets everything, and he's got the embassy moved to Jerusalem. He's named Jerusalem the capital of Israel. He got Israel and the UEA, I think, to actually sign a peace treaty with each other. And it's not the 7-year contract. It hadn't been signed yet. It'll be a big deal when that actually happens. But now you're going to see what I actually wanted you to see. See that tower there? The big one up there? It's kind of hard. I can't look through the picture of the camera, so I'm hoping and believing God's got it positioned for me. I'm just holding it because I got to concentrate on driving. As we get up here, you'll see what I'm talking about with the metal poles. Right now, it's unreal. I mean, it totally is unreal. Mason is going to play a major role during the tribulation period. I don't know what that role is going to be. I just know that I've had some spiritual things happen to me in the last 2 years that has been unreal. And Cincinnati sits upon 7 hills. Mason basically is a suburb of Cincinnati. The word Mason is brick. Somebody that lays bricklayer, or bricklayers are named Masons. They're called Masons. Well, another one of the false religions that's out there is Masonry. They do these rituals. Masonic Lodge. It's been that way, I guess, ever since the creation of America. The Masonic Lodge, they mask it under, they use Christianity as a cloak. They're not really Christians. They believe they're Christians. They truly believe they're Christians, and they show characteristics of being Christians. But what they're doing is a type of magic. Some people call it white magic. Some people say you got white magic, black magic. I don't really see the difference between white or black. It's magic, period. It's witchcraft. It's witchcraft. Just call it what it is. Now, you see all these towers here leading up in here. We still haven't come into Mason yet. We're just on the outer part of it. You can see, man, they've got some of the most beautiful homes up here. And I mean tons and tons of homes. This isn't going to be this isn't one of them places that when the economy does bad, they get into a real big bond. They don't. The economy will always be good here in this town because of all the hubs of your businesses being located here. Plus, I found out the other day when I was looking on the internet, Ohio has the bulk of what's called serpent mounds. They're actual mounds that are they're serpentine mounds, some people call it, or serpent mounds. And Ohio's got the most in all the country of those mounds. And they're elevated places, and they've got bodies buried there, and some have uncovered, what they call giants in some of these mounds. And there's something to that too, because God talks about how the people go up on the mountains, the high places, and they worship the Queen of Heaven and different things like that. So Satan is very real. He does have a network. This 5G that's coming, that's here, that is going to be the biggest thing, is going to be keeping track of people. That's his system. He just, I think, started trying it out a few months back with this COVID-19. COVID equals 53. And if you take, I don't know if you ever wondered where the 19 come from. Satan's first letter in his name is S. It's the 19th letter of the alphabet. Well, his original name was Lucifer. Lucifer equals 74. And Satan equals 55. If you minus 55 out of 74, you got 19. 5 is the first letter of evil. 5 is the letter or the number that he uses more than any number, just about I can think of. 5, 19. And you got pentatonic scales, different things like that. And penta means 5. So when it says 5G network, the Lord said that when the tribulation comes, when he takes the church out, it's going to come upon the whole world as a snare. And it says that we're supposed to pray that we be accounted worthy to escape the things that shall come to pass on this earth, and to stand before the Son of Man. And he says, and when they shall say peace and safety, then cometh sudden destruction. Now there's a period of time between the network starting, I believe, and getting up rolling, and to the point where they actually come to the point and say peace and safety. The peace and safety will probably come when that peace treaty is signed. But that's when God says, then cometh sudden destruction. And that sudden destruction, some of it comes from the Lord, some of it comes from Satan. The son of perdition is the Antichrist. That's another name for him, son of perdition. Perdition is a word for destruction. Another word for destruction. This Antichrist is going to be the most deceivable leader that the world has ever seen. He is going to deceive people like no other. And Jesus said that there has never been a time like it, nor shall there ever be another time like it, pertaining to the Great Tribulation period. It is going to be horrible. You don't want to have to go through it. Unfortunately, the church has not been teaching what they need to be teaching pertaining to our enemy. They've been so focused on going on field trips and building gymnasiums and doing all these other different things, thinking that they're doing the Lord's work, when some of it has been His work, but not all of it. We should have been teaching, they should have been teaching, because I'm not qualified to be a bishop in church. My wife divorced me. I've tried to get that position a few times, and God's always closed the door. The teaching position, I don't think I've actually tried to get it in the church. I don't know why. All I can say is I don't feel like God ever led me that direction. I did teach one time maybe 2 times in front of a church pertaining to music and how Satan is in it. And that music wasn't bad. It was just Satan marks his territory, and his music has corrupted many people. And I believe even now with all my heart, I went the way that the Lord wanted me to go day by day. I believe that God is in total control. I don't believe that He's in partial control. And I believe when I committed myself into Him after that, every single day, every single thing that happened was ordained by the Lord. And I'm not going to second guess any of it. I've saw God do things when I've fallen down. I saw Him do things with people that were down there. That's just been amazing. And then God would lift me back up and clean me back up and set me back off again. I've been like a man on a mission ever since 1992 when I became born again. This is 2020. I'm going to end it right there, and I'll pick it back up later.